Good evening, welcome to 100% LCFC. My name is Phil and this is your live Monday night football FANZONE show. Get your views in, get your comments in, let me know what you think to Leicester City's season so far. Obviously, 2 games in, 2 points for Leicester, 1 goal scored, 1 goal conceded. Good evening to Mick Paget, first one in there watching, and Mark Gatwood. Get your views in, get your comments. Good evening to you, Mick. Good evening to you, Mark, and you, Sean. How are you, Sean? Fresh from your trip to Oxford last week. Thanks for those photos. Robert Ross, how are you? Good morning, good evening. Stuart Widows. It could be good morning if you're watching in Australia. We do have people watch us from Australia, so it could be good morning, even though it is good evening, of course. Jack Sharp gets straight in with the first question. Albrighton needs to start. Jack, I totally agree with you. I don't know why Mark Albrighton isn't starting. Yes, we've signed some new players. I would always put Albrighton ahead of them. That's just me. Good evening, Andy Price. Good evening to you, Baz Short. How are you? Thanks for watching as ever. Mirko, how are you? Good evening from Holland, Mirko says. Good evening to you from Leicestershire, Mirko. Jordan's watching as ever. Pat York says, Fuchs. How good was Christian Fuchs yesterday? It's been quite a while since we've seen him have a big start in the Premier League. I'll put it out there. Who would you rather have playing at left back on Saturday at Sheffield United? Here's the first fan poll live tonight. Christian Fuchs or Ben Chilwell? I'm a big Ben Chilwell fan, but I tell you what, I thought Christian Fuchs had an absolutely stonking game yesterday. So let's see. If you think Chilwell, do us a thumbs up. If you think Fuchs, give us a heart. How about that? That's easy. Use the emojis because I can see them coming up, and we'll see if we get loads of thumbs up likes for Ben Chilwell or a load of hearts for Christian Fuchs. First one's coming up. Oh, it's a bit of a mixed bag at the moment. We've got a few likes and a few hearts. Bit of a mix. I would say that's 50-50 at the moment. Jordan Williams is saying always have a slow start and give away awful goals. Second half was a lot better. It is, and I'm looking at those likes and those hearts coming in. I would say it's just Ben Chilwell at the moment. I think a lot more of you going for Ben Chilwell than Christian Fuchs, which is fine. Jamie Toff says give Fuchs another chance. Pat York is saying Fuchs. James Day is saying where's Barnes. Keep those likes, keep those hearts coming in. Very mixed bag. I think it's very 50-50. Imtiaz, good evening to you. Long time no see, Phil. Good evening, Imtiaz. Hope you're well. What did you think to the season so far, Imtiaz? Has it been a good 2 points and 2 draws, or is it not quite that good? And how are we thinking about Sheffield United on Saturday? Suddenly turns into a bigger game because I think we all thought that was going to be 3 points, didn't we? And it still should be, but I tell you what, that is going to be a lot tougher after the start they've had go to Bramall Lane. Anyway, here's your comments. Stuart Widow says Fuchs gives us a long throw. He does. Joe Callis is saying keep Fuchs in. James Day's giving us a score update saying it's Wolves 0, Man United 1. Who scored? Not Harry Maguire, please. No. Clive Moore goes for Chilwell. Jack Sharp does a heart, which is for Christian Fuchs. Robert Ross says Christian Fuchs. Scott Ryan is watching. Scott, don't just watch, get a comment in. Let me know, what do you think, Scott? Who was your man of the match yesterday? There's a question for you. Put it in the comments. Who you thought was man of the match yesterday? Was it Sionku again, maybe? Was it Maddison? I'm going to go for Maddison. I thought Maddison, second half, had an absolutely outstanding match. So do put the comments in there. Jordan Williams saying Chilwell's injured ain't the hip problem. Don't quite understand that, Jordan. Rephrase that so I know. Bailey says Fuchs has no point risking Chilwell further any injury. Imtiaz says he just spammed the like for the obvious answer. Paul saying we are too narrow and need to get the width on the wings. What do you think to the formation at the moment? I'm just feeling a little bit like we've got, and we did say it before the season start, we've now got some fantastic players, attacking midfielders, blending in Maddison. Perez, is that working with Tielemans? And then you've got this Pratt. It doesn't sound right, does it? You know, what did you think to Perez? Put in the comments. I want to know what you guys thought. Scott Ryan saying give Fuchs a chance. James Day saying Leicester should have definitely won at Chelsea. Scott Ryan saying Soyuncu. Thanks, Scott, for replying. Soyuncu, what an improvement. We need to smash Sheffield. Nigel's agreeing we need to play Albrighton. That's Nigel Holmes. Thanks, Nigel, for that. Stuart Widow says it was Rashford who scored. That's a Man U update. Not that we're bothered. Robert Ross saying Soyuncu played some sexy football. Sexy, Robert? I'm not sure about that. Pat York saying Matters. Soyuncu was man of the match, says Mick Paget. Lewis is saying I'd have Pratt in over Chowdhury. I just wonder, I think Chowdhury and Ndidi is, I think that's too defensive for me, if I'm honest. It's a bit defensive. I sort of get it away at home, away from home at Chelsea. At home against Wolves, I certainly didn't get that. I think you'd have all been moaning if Claude Puel would have put that combination out there. Jack Sharp is saying he would go for Madders as man of the match. Sean Randall, thanks Sean, saying Soyuncu. Andrew Turlington is agreeing with Sean. Stuart's agreeing. Stuart Widows is saying Soyuncu. Joe Callis is saying Ndidi just to ease his pain, bless him. Yeah, he did look upset, didn't he, Joe? Right in his post-match interviews. He really wasn't happy with that goal that he did give away. Just got caught on the ball a little bit. We're going to play out from the back this season again like last season. Those mistakes are going to happen. Listen, their keeper nearly gave one away, didn't he? Vardy nearly got in. Similar sort of thing, just messing around with it. Aggie, hi Aggie, good evening to you. Soyuncu, says Aggie. Vaughan Reese is watching. Hi Vaughan, how are you? What do you think to yesterday's performance? Ian Starkey is saying, good evening. Fuchs and Maddison played excellent. They certainly did. And Maddison was man of the match, says Clive Moore. Agreeing with you there. Jordan Williams is saying, Chilwell has an injury. Ain't he slight hip problem? Yeah, I think so. So he perhaps won't be there. So Robert Etchells is saying, always prefer Fuchs over Chilwell. Imtiaz is saying, Pratt is my new favourite player. What a star he's going to be. He's definitely the Belgian Modric. So Imtiaz talking really, really highly there of Pratt. I think the little cameo that we saw him come on, he played well, did some turns. Paul Spilling is sort of agreeing with me, saying you can't play Chowdhury and Ndidi together. I think you can, Paul, if we're going for a super defensive lineup like we were, or perhaps you would argue at Chelsea you can play a defensive line. I think at home against Wolves and certainly away at Sheffield United, I don't want to see us playing Ndidi and Chowdhury together. That's me. I wouldn't have those two together when you're trying to be a bit more attacking. James Day saying 7th for Leicester City. You need to play Barnes. A lot of people saying where's Barnes? Didn't see Barnes. Mick Paget saying the formation in the first half didn't work. It certainly didn't, but the first half, Mick, yesterday. Give Chelsea credit. Honestly, Frank Lampard's a big club legend there. That was a welcome home to a legend. So I think they were going to come out of the traps, and they really did that first 25 minutes. They could have been 2 up, 3 up maybe. Jake Short, good evening to you, Jake. How are you? Get your comments in. Paul Burchett saying need to play Barnes. There, another of you saying where's Harvey Barnes? Let's see a bit more of him. My question to you guys is, why is Albrighton not starting? I know we've just spent millions and millions on Perez. I know we've spent millions on Tielemans. I'd have Mark Albrighton in that team every week, unless it just never lets you down. Never lets you down. James Moore, I agree with you. James Moore says we need Maddison in the centre. Is that what we need? Maddison, is he a number 10? Should he be right in that middle, feeding towards Vardy, taking the balls? He certainly had a fantastic second half, didn't he, James, yesterday? So I would agree with you. I think James Maddison needs to be number 10 in there. Scott Ryan is saying not keen on Perez, would rather play Barnes. I thought Harvey Barnes was playing very well towards the end of the last season. Perez has sort of come in and, expecting big things, but not sure yet. Andy Medhurst, how are you? Good evening to you, Andy, this evening. Get your comments in, Andy. Let me know what you thought. Two games, 2 points, 1 goal in, 1 goal out. Jack Sharp saying formation has to change or Brighton needs to be on. I agree with you. And then he goes on to say Perez is a bit poor in my opinion. I'm the only one who thinks he gets in Vardy's way. Jury's out on Perez. Only 2 games, but, we'll see. Scott Ryan saying all Brighton. Pratt was better than Chowdhury. I think Pratt plays further forward, Scott, doesn't he, than Hamza Chowdhury. So I nearly said Imtiaz Chowdhury. How about that, getting that wrong for you, Imtiaz? I nearly said you instead of Hamza. Listen, Scott, I agree. I think Pratt does play further forward and pulls the ball a bit further. Mick Paget, I sort of agree with you. Mick saying Perez, a bit disappointing in the first 2 games. Jack Sharp saying Albrighton is better than Barnes. I agree with you, Jack. I agree. Alex saying you need a swear jar for every time you say the P word. Do you mean the Pratt word? Maybe I should. That's not a swear. Alex, that's not a swear, is it? Come on. I don't think so. James Dare saying Barnes come back to West Bromwich Albion. James, are you a West Brom fan watching this? John Squire says Perez is too slow. Joanna Astley is watching. Good evening, Joanna. You're a bit late to the party tonight, Joanna. What do you think about the last 2 games, Joanna? And what do you think about Saturday's trip to Sheffield United? I'm a bit nervous because I think we will win and I want us to win and we ought to win. But they're going to come at us. What do you reckon, Joanna? Give us your views on Saturday. Mick's come in, Mick Paget, saying the first half I thought Pure was in charge. We said that after the Wolves game. I tell you, if that was a Club Well team, you wouldn't have been happy. Andy is saying, thanks Andy, saying Andy Medhurst, Madders missed an absolute sitter. He did. To be fair, he did all the hard work. Maddison did loads of hard work and then he got to that, he was only about 8 yards out. He hit it too well. We connected too well with it. Really blasted it over, didn't he, Andy? Andy, I thought that was going to be the point when we were going to go on and win it. John Squire says get Harv in. Obviously shouting for Harvey Barnes to come in. Andy Price is saying Madders drove us on in the second half. He really did, didn't he? Andy says should have passed his chance, not blasted it in. Bit of composure, just a bit of composure there, Andy. Lee is saying Lee Allen Bettles RA. That's a Facebook name and a half, Lee Allen Bettles RA. Anyway, he says Fuchs was man of the match. Which I think that's a fair shout. I'd give it to Maddison, but I think Christian Fuchs is a great shout. James Moore saying we've seen a few Pratts in a Leicester shirt over the years. Come on then, James, you start us off. Who's the biggest Pratt you've ever seen in a Leicester City shirt? We're just making this up. James Moore says we've seen a few Pratts in a Leicester City shirt over the few years. Name me the biggest Pratt you've ever seen in a Leicester City shirt. Come on, I want some names. Biggest Pratt ever seen in a Leicester City shirt. We'll come to those when you start putting them in. Tony Fish says, do we start too defensive in games? I think we do, and a bit too slow as well, Tony, at times. But we were saying that under Albrighton. Under Club Well, Albrighton. Don't forget, who's the biggest Pratt you've seen in a Leicester shirt? Jordan Williams saying, love Fuchs take on Kante to stop him scoring. Yeah, that was good. Mick Paget is asking the ever-going Leicester City question, saying, why is Albrighton not in an England shirt? Mick, why is Albrighton not in a Leicester shirt starting? That's a question. Aggie says, do you think Gray's days are numbered at City? Not improved since the day we signed him. Aggie, I think Brendan Rodgers came out last week and said Damari Gray's got to, well, he said it in nicer words, but Brendan Rodgers said, he's got to pull his socks up. I've got to see a bit more from him. That's why he's not in the squad, Aggie. So, Kerry Rambridge, good evening to you. Get your views in, get your comments in. Kerry, who's the biggest Pratt you've ever seen in a Leicester shirt? There's something we want. I'm going to squeeze through. Alex Green is saying, Puel, you Pratt. Didn't see him in Leicester shirt, but I see what you mean. Neil is watching. Don't forget, Neil and James do their fantastic new show, The Kit Room, every Thursday at 8:30. Imtiaz says, Sheffield have got some very decent form at the moment. They have, and we must be vigilant, says Imtiaz. We have. They've drawn one, they've won one. They're on 4 points. They've had a better start than us. Let's not mince around it. I'm not going to say they've had easy... Well, they have had easier matches than us. I'm going to say it. Benkovic, this is Jack Sharp, says, Benkovic, what do you reckon, Phil? When he is fully fit, he going to take Sonku? I don't think so, Jack. I don't think so. I think Sonku's bedding himself in nicely, getting lots of plaudits from people. Pleased to see Sonku. I do fear that he has got an error in him, or two. But I think so far so good. 2 games, nicely done. Scott Ryan saying, I hope we get a 4-2 them to run at us, but us to dominate fitness-wise. You would like to think, look, Sheffield United have a great start, but I'd like to think that Leicester are too strong in all departments for a newly promoted side like Sheffield United. They just have not spent the money we've spent. They haven't got 5 years Premier League experience. They haven't won the Premier League. I think we should be too strong for them now. If we're not, then this top 6, top 4, top whatever that all us fans want, you've got to think about it twice. You've got to think about it if we're not going to Sheffield United and winning. Andrew Turlington says Maddison needs to stop trying to take on the world every time. I sort of agree with you there, Andrew, at times. It is a trouble that he does do it. Robert Rossi, yes, says Clarkson had a dig at Madders. Did you see that? Jeremy Clarkson, ex-Top Gear, obviously, had a pop at James Maddison on Twitter, said Maddison should stop spending so much time sorting his hair out and concentrate on playing football, practicing football. And James Maddison tweeted him back saying, I can count how many times you're going to need a haircut for the rest of your life on one hand. Bit harsh, but bit of Twitter banter there for people. Neil saying, it's still a young squad. We will come good in time. Remember, a lot of these are 20, 23, which is a good point from Neil. Scott Ryan is saying, what's the biggest prat you've seen in a Leicester shirt? Scott saying, adding Adi Akinbaye. There you go, I can say it. Adam Tucker is saying, Robbie Savage. Robbie Savage is the biggest prat you've seen in Leicester shirt. Adam, you can't say Robbie Savage is a prat. Come on. He's a Leicester legend in my book. He's a Leicester legend. I love it. Look. Look, you can't have the salve. You can't call Robbie Savage a prat, can you? Who thinks Robbie Savage is a prat? You're allowed to say it. I don't. He comes from one of the best teams I've ever seen for Leicester, so he's there. That's why I'll have his shirt and his thing. Junior Lewis is a big prat, says James Moore. We are definitely. Oh, Joe Callis is saying Jeremy Clarkson. Got burnt, says Alex. Gray Richardson, evening. He says sorry for the late start. Come on, Gray. What time is it? It's nearly quarter. You've missed half the stuff we've been talking about. We're trying to work out who's the biggest prat in a Leicester shirt. That's the top topic we're on now. Gray is saying it is Adi Akinbaye. A few of you going about Savage. I can't believe it. I just can't believe that. Tony Fish is saying the biggest prat was Stan Collymore. Bit harsh to be fair with you, Tony. Carl is watching. Jake Short is saying Jermaine Beckford. Yeah, was it Jermaine Beckford who couldn't be bothered to go up for a corner away at Peterborough when we were 2-0 down under Nigel Pearson? I think it was Jermaine Beckford. I was there, standing behind the goal, and he could not be bothered to go up. I think we were 1-0 down with a couple of minutes to go. Imtiaz has got an interesting point here, which I think it's worth discussing. Imtiaz says, it's quite obvious how we are lacking a proper strike partnership up front, but the recruitment team apparently think Perez can fill the void. I'm not convinced at the moment. Would rather have bought an all-out striker. I've got to be fair, Imtiaz. I think I pretty much agree with you. I am slightly fearful that we've got some very, very good attacking midfielders. But I think we've got a lot of them. And I think that's what Imtiaz is referring to. We've got Maddison, which is fantastic. We've got Tielemans, which again, I'm hoping is going to be fantastic. I don't think he's been that brilliant the last 2 games. Don't have a go, but that's what I think. Tielemans has not shined in those 2 games. I definitely don't think Perez has shined in those 2 games either. Then we've got Harvey Barnes, we've got Mark Albrighton. We've got quite a big group of attacking midfielders. And yet, we've got Jamie Vardy, which is fantastic, but that's it. Don't think Iheanacho's there. Oh, I've just seen a comment on the biggest prat. I think Neil Ryan has got the biggest prat in the Leicester shirt. Dennis Wise. I think you're going to be hard pushed to beat Neil's biggest prat in the Leicester shirt being Dennis Wise. Some good ones in there. Jason Mills saying evening, bit late to the get. Yeah, you are late, Jake. A few people coming in late. Come on, it's 8:30 every Monday, everybody. Don't forget, if you can like and share this video, that would be great. Scott Ryan saying, I hate hearing this top 6 ego. I feel we should be in there this season. I understand what you're saying there. I do understand. Pete Hides is saying, but they all do their hair for TV. They all do. I'm not sure if if Jeremy Clarkson does do his hair for TV, though, with you, Pete, to be fair. Savage is a legend, says Mick Paget. Yes, I'm with you, Mick. He certainly is. Certainly is. But Mark Cowan says Savage can be a knob. I think that's... Can't we all? Can't we all? I know I certainly can be at times. Biggest prat is Dennis Wise, says Jason Mills. I think people beginning to agree with you. That Savage print is nice. Is it a giveaway? It certainly is not, MTS. That is not a giveaway. But good point for reminding me. Plug time, don't forget, this shirt you can win. It is a raffle. It's in aid of the Leicester Royal Infirmary, the neonatal ward. My brother Will is raising money for the Leicester Royal Infirmary neonatal ward. This shirt has been given to us by the club. It's been signed by lots of players, including the world's most expensive defender who no longer plays for us. But that signature's just got to be worth some more money. I will put a link in the comments at the end, and you can still have a go on the raffle. It's £1 a ticket, but if you donate £5, you're going to get 5 tickets. If you donate 10 tickets, £10, you get 10 tickets. We'll do a live draw here on 100% LCFC, but don't forget that is the signed Leicester City shirt from last season. I think it's already on about £250, so there's about 250 tickets gone. I don't think that's bad. Worth £1 to win a shirt. Keep getting your views, getting your comments in here. We've got about 10 minutes left. We want to start getting on to some score predictions. Brett Coombs is finally here. Brett, where have you been all night with your fantastic comments? I've been missing them. Harry Who says Robert Ross. I agree. Harry Who indeed. Brad Norman saying good evening. Brad, good evening. And to you, David Gavin is late as well. Everybody's late. But David Gavin's first thing to say is the biggest prat in the Leicester shirt is Robbie Savage. Dennis White. Why? Listen, you've got a choice of 2 players to call the biggest prat in a Leicester shirt. Robbie Savage or Dennis Wise. And you're going for Robbie Savage, who was Leicester City Player of the Season 2 years on the trot. And Dennis Wise is certainly not. Come on, I'm going to ask you that. Savage or Wise? Who was the biggest prat? If you lot go for Savage, I'm just going to pull what little hair I've got left out. Trust me. Jack Sharp is saying score predictions for Saturday. Thank you, Jack. Jack is getting us back on track. Now, before we do that, we are going to give some pizza away. Scott, Brett, get ready. Well done. We gave this away in the live earlier, and it went to Chris Bamkin. Now, we give that away. That's from Everard's. Thank you to them. That's a mini keg of Tiger. I've got another one of those to give away. I will start it on the website tomorrow. So get ready for that. Now, on Sunday, we give away 2 pizzas yesterday for the correct score predictions. And nobody got it right. Not surprisingly, because some Chelsea player went and spoiled the party and scored first. So, if you want to win yesterday's pizzas from our pals at Pizzas, you need to put a comment in. But listen, wait, before you start spamming, I want to decide this thing. And I want you to put in there whether it was Dennis Wise or Robbie Savage is the biggest prat with a pizza emoji. So it's either Savage pizza or Wise pizza. Okay? Let's see where that vote goes. And I will pick somebody at the end who has done that. So Mick Paget, stop putting in 1,000 pizza emojis because that's not right. Come on, Mick, you've been learning off Brett and Scott. That's no good. You need to put Savage or Dennis Wise with a pizza emoji. That's it. So put that in there. Sean Randall probably answers the Robbie Savage thing by saying that Savage was a legend, but he does come across as a prat these days. Sorry. You're probably right. You're probably right, but I'm still not having it that he's a bigger prat than Dennis Wise. Let's talk about, you get the comments in there, Savage and pizza, Wise and pizza, whatever you want to put in there. Listen, let's get talking about Sheffield United on Saturday, because we've got about 5 minutes left. We will do score predictions, so put in the comments who you think is going to score the first goal and the correct final score. But before we get on to that, let me know, how are we going to tweak our team to start against Sheffield United? Because if you ask me, I don't even care who's in the Sheffield United team. I don't want to look at their tactics. I just want to set Leicester City up to go out there and attack and win. Because without a shadow of a doubt, we should have better players than them So who do you think needs to come into the team? Who do you think needs to drop out of the team? Would you keep Perez in there? For me, I would take Perez out and I would put Mark Albrighton in. I like Hamza Chowdhury and I like Wilfred Ndidi, but I don't like them both playing together. I think it's too defensive, so I would take one of them out and I would probably have to take Hamza out, just because I think Wilfred Ndidi is probably just the better player all round by a smidgen at the moment. I'd like to see us go more attacking. I really would. That's what I'd like to know. Who would you put in? Who would you put out? Still rumours, by the way, that Slimani and Silva are going to leave the club before the end of the European transfer window. How stupid is it, by the way, that the European transfer window is open still so that teams can come in and buy players from us, but for some reason the Premier League decided we voted to shut our window early. Seems a bit strange that we can sell players and not bring anybody in. Hey ho, doesn't really affect us because we didn't make Europe, but anyway. MTL saying I would take Perez out and put in Nacho and take Chowdhury out and put in Pratt. It's interesting. I don't think many people will agree with MTLs about putting Nacho in. I wouldn't agree with you there, MTLs. I wouldn't put Nacho on. Tweet the formation is saying Neil. Check out our show on Thursday. Shameless plug. Good one, Neil. Shameless plug for the kit room. They do discuss team formation and team tactics every Thursday, 8:30 p.m. Neil, next slide, please. He'll know what I'm on about. Paul Spilling is saying Barnes on one side, Albrighton on the other, Perez and Vardy up top. Paul, that would be attacking, wouldn't it? That's almost a 4 up top. Where would you put Maddison in that lineup, Paul? I think you could have Tielemans and Ndidi in that lineup. One defensive, one attacking with Maddison in. It's a bit narrow again. People have been saying we're a bit narrow. Alan Rodgers is the biggest Forest Pratt, says Scott Ryan. Don't forget, if you want to win yesterday's pizzas, you just need to put Savage or Wise with the pizza emoji as the biggest Pratt in a Leicester shirt. That apparently are the two nominees we're going for. Wayne Murray is saying City to win 3-1 or Brighton in for Hamza. I think that definitely Wayne makes it more attacking. I give you that. Brett has gone for Wise. I'm not telling you what to do, but if you're voting for Robbie Savage as a bigger Pratt than Dennis Wise, I'm not sure what's going on. Lewis King saying good evening, everyone. Lewis, welcome to the back end of the show. David Gavin is saying, think Pratt should start for Chowdhury against Sheffield United. Mark Albrighton on for Perez. Again, I think that's good shouts, David. I think that is probably more attacking. Andy Price is saying you'd have Hamza out, Barnes on the wing, Madders central, Albrighton to come on later. Andy, you're still not putting Albrighton in that starting 11. For me, he has to be in there. I keep saying it. Neil Yoxon saying need to play Albrighton for Perez and Pratt for Hamza. Could it be that simple? Just change those two players over. Neil saying Albrighton in for Perez, Pratt in for Hamza. It would certainly be more attacking. I think, Neil, you might be onto something there. Jake Short is disagreeing, saying Perez should go up front with Vardy in a 4-1-2-1-2. That is very narrow, Jake, to be fair. Brett saying get Barnes in. Lewis Wheatley saying 2 games in, give them a team a chance. Passing needs to improve more than anything. Passing in the final third, I would say, need to improve with you, Lewis, if I'm honest. Scott saying Nacho, no way. Can't read that one out. Sean Randall saying never Nacho. Keith Goodall is saying need some strong men against United. Fuchs and Wes at the back. Hey, listen, I would think Sionku and Johnny Evans has been fantastic again. So, and Ricardo Pereira, more than decent. Christian Fuchs did well. Brett's saying don't need Hamza and Ndidi. I agree. I think that's what lots of us are saying. Next game, this is Paul Jones says this. Paul says, next game, do you think we need to mix it up front? Sheffield United will sit deep and they'll be in no space behind for Vardy. So maybe chuck Slimani in and play with width and get crosses in for him. It's an interesting one. I think Sheffield United will come at us. I think they're Premier League newbies. I think at Bramall Lane, the crowd will be absolutely rocking for them. I think they will be roared on to come and attack us. And I think that will suit us big time, because I think we will exploit that on the break and playing fast counter-attacking football. like we know we can do well. I think it will suit us. If Sheffield United come at us, we might have to suck them in, to be fair. Kerry Rambridge is saying Barnes and Albrighton to start, Fuchs too. Andy Medhurst is voting for Dennis Wise with a pizza emoji. Brett's going for Dennis Wise. Ryan is going for Robbie Savage. Karen is going for Dennis Wise. Paul is saying we would destroy teams with the attack we have. Just leave Ndidi to clear up behind. Brad Norman, hi Brad, saying 3-0 to Leicester. Brad, who do you think is going to score first? Neil Yoxon saying, can I put Wise and Savage with pizzas? You can, Neil. You can do it. Brett is saying Wise is a doorknob. Mark Goward. Brett, I must learn to read your comments before I read them out. Do you know, I just look at the comments and it starts coming out my mouth and you get me in all sorts of mischief. So stop it. Mick saying, Dennis Wise, wobbly eyes. Terry, good evening Terry. Found the 50p for the meter, well done. No, says Terry, the biggest prat, Chris Coleman and his Celtic moment. Lewis King saying, what's with the Wise and pizza emojis, Phil? Listen, Lewis, I don't know. We were talking about Dennis Pratt, the new Leicester player, and then somehow we got on to who's the biggest prat you've ever seen in a Leicester shirt. And then somehow that ended up being Robbie Savage, probably because his shirt is behind me. And then somebody else said Dennis Wise. So the debate is, who's the biggest prat in a Leicester shirt, Dennis Wise or Robbie Savage? And now we've turned that into competition to win a pizza, Lewis. That's all it is. So if you want to win 2 pizzas from Peters, put in Wise or Savage and a pizza emoji. That's why it's gone bonkers. Terry's saying Chris Sutton, an even bigger prat. It's all Pugh's fault, Paul Spilling. Yes, of course it is. Of course it is. Andy Price saying, use Albrighton as an impact sub. Sooner go for pace with Barnes. That's fair enough. Fair enough. If you can all like and share this video, do it now, please. I am begging. But it does help us spread the 100% LCFC word across the Facebook world. So if you can like it, thank you. If you can share it, muchas gracias. Now, I need to pick a pizza winner. So I'm going to do the finger of scroll, which you guys might not know what that means, but it is just me. I will flick all the comments like this. Gaily flick them. And the first one where it lands, let's see who's scrolled it. Robert Ross. I think Robert's won before. I've got to be honest. Robert Ross. You've just won 2 pizzas. So I'm just going to reply so I don't forget, because all these competitions, I'm just writing it here now. You win. There we go. Robert Ross. I nearly did a Jonathan Ross. Robert Ross, you've won. Are you still watching, Robert? Are you still with us? If you are, well done. So fix. I love that. Andy Price goes, fix! It's a fix! It's not a fix, Andy. Well done to Robert Ross, says Mick. That's nice. He's playing for the under-23, says Aggie. I'm not sure who you're on about there, Aggie. Wayne Murray saying Sheffield will make it a physical game. If we don't react and keep 11 men on the pitch, then I'll predict 3-1 to City. Robert Ross is watching. Yay! You just won, Robert. 2 pizzas. Scott Ryan, I knew when I asked that competition that somebody would put it. I think that's the first person who put it, but I think you're quite right. The biggest prat in a Leicester shirt ever is Phil. It is me. I don't mind it. I thought all of you'd go that way, but thank you for not. The only person to do it was Scott. I'm going to remember that, Scott Ryan. Absolutely remember you now, Scott. Craig Jones saying we need VAR for the winners' election. Listen, I noticed yesterday, talking of VAR like we weren't, Madison was through and then passed it through to Jamie Vardy, and the linesman put his flag up and flagged for offside. I didn't think the linos were meant to do that now in a goal scoring opportunity. I thought they were meant to let it go through and then review it on VAR. Am I wrong with that? Anyway, Kerry's saying, hope you share the pizza, Robert Ross. Very nice. Listen, who did Robert say was the prat, says Terry Payne. Robert said Dennis Wise was the biggest prat. So therefore, Robert Ross has decided who is tonight's biggest brat. It is Dennis Weiss. Listen, it's gone 9 o'clock. Thank you everybody for watching. Please like and share this video. Don't forget it's Chappers live 8 p.m. on Wednesday with the Fox in the Box show. It's James and Neil on Thursday at 8:30 p.m. with the Kit Room. It is match day on Saturday with Anthony Howard live from doing our away day fan reports from Bramall Lane on Saturday. Sunday morning, Jamie from the Fox's Arms will be oh so pleased because he's doing a proper Fox's Aftermath show. He can moan and bitch and chat and get all your views post-match. He doesn't like doing it pre-match, he likes it post-match on Sunday morning, 9:30 for the biggest shows. It's busy here on 100% LCFC, but without you fans putting in all your comments and all your views, we would be nothing. Thanks Lewis King, thanks Terry Fuller, Josh Cornish, Imtiaz, Keith Goodall, Mick Paget, Craig Jones, Paul Spilling, Scott Ryan, Kerry Rambridge, Robert Ross, Terry Payne, Andy Price, Andy Medhurst, Craig Jones, Paul Spilling, Jack Sharp, trying to get as many names in, Joanna Astley, and Wayne Murray, and everybody else who put a comment in. Thank you for watching 100% LCFC. My name's Phil, and I'll see you very soon. Blue Army.